Hey guys, welcome to Cape and Cowl Cafe. I'm Nemo, and today we're going to be reviewing your Batman designs. This is going to be part 3. If you guys enjoy the video at any point today, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, but let's hop right in. Okay, so a while ago, I once again asked you guys to submit your custom Batman designs, whether it be a design for Batman, Robin, or one of Batman's villains. I just wanted to see what the community could come up with. There are just so many cool and wacky designs out there, and I also think it's just important to celebrate and put a spotlight on human creativity, especially with all this AI crap going on. Let's get started. Alright, first up, we have this Batsuit created by Asdrawnbyginger over on Twitter, and this thing is really cool. I didn't think I was going to be a fan of the blue and orange color scheme, but since the suit is mostly black, I think it works. Now, the only thing that I'm a little iffy on is the placement of the ears and the eyes. Now, with the rest of the mask, I think it's really cool. I like that more animalistic jaw-looking mouth. It kind of reminds me of Ultron, but the ears are throwing me off a little bit. I kind of prefer the ears to be near the back of the head, but here they're closer to the middle and it just looks a little weird. And with the eyes, like, I get it. The pupils are probably there to look more kind of off-putting and like terrifying, but I think they would have looked better blank. But even though I'm not a huge fan of the mask, the rest of the suit is just fire. Now, I'm going to compare to this suit a ton in this video because I've done it in the previous parts, but this is kind of reminding me of the Batman 2004. We have the ridiculously long cape, we have the sleek shiny blue highlights, we have the claws on the gloves. It's just so cool. So even though the artist here is taking some creative liberties with the mask, I think this is a really solid design. I like this a lot. You know what, let's turn this video into a drinking game. Every time I say so cool, take a shot. Cool. Alright, next up we have this design by Feralghoulishnino on Instagram, and this is really reminding me of the Nightfall costume from the new trailer we got. And I think this one's better though, honestly. It has a collar. I'm very biased towards collars. Now, with the spikes on the shoulders, I'm not really a spike guy. You know, I feel like it's Batman trying too hard. Like, he doesn't need them to be scary, and whenever he has the spikes, it's like, okay, buddy, just simmer down. You're doing too much, you know? But honestly, this is just like a beautiful piece of artwork. Like, I'm just stunned. Like, this is impressive. Okay, I really love the purple highlights on the costume. I mean, artists usually stick to like the blue or just gray for the highlights when it comes to Batman, but I really like it when they dip into other colors. It's just, I don't know, it feels more interesting to look at. Like, this is just really cool. Now, this artist has also blessed us with 2 more designs, this next one being a really cool alternate version of Robin. I really like the full face mask and how it's kind of connected to the cape and it's just draping over one shoulder. I think that's really cool. I'm not a huge fan of the shape of the mask, but I do like how the eyes are just like big and circular. It looks more youthful, if that makes sense. I'm kind of getting like Gotham by Gaslight vibes with the rest of the suit with the stitched logo and like it kind of has an old-timey feel with the torso section. I like the straps on the chest, and this is just really solid. I like this a lot. Not sure about the haircut though. And the last design here by Mr. Ferrell is this really unique Viking Batman. This is just so incredibly detailed. I really like all of the different armor pieces, and it just flows together so well. And I feel like it's always a good idea to add a little bit of brown to like an old-timey design. It just helps age it, if that makes sense. I really like the fur cape and the helmet, and also the skull on the mask. That looks like it could be like a giant bat skull. It's just so cool. I love this so much. This is like if Batman was in like How to Train Your Dragon or God of War or something, and he was like fighting Kratos. Like, this is just insane. Like, I'm actually just dumbfounded by how raw this is. This is so cool. Alright, next up we have this Batman and Robin design by Gabriel on Instagram, and I always think it's so interesting to see how people kind of get around the trunks and find new ways to break up the gray on the Batsuit, because with just like a basic Batsuit, when there's no trunks, there's too much gray. You know, you gotta find a way to break it up, and so many different costumes have tried different methods of doing it. Like Arkham Origins has that little kind of dark gray section, you know, that kind of looks like trunks, but it runs up the torso. Then you have costumes like Future State that do similar things. This one is doing something slightly different, where you still have that kind of black section that runs up the torso, but instead of connecting to a trunk area, it just connects to like pants. Like, it just turns into pants. I think it's really cool. You know, this is super unique, and it looks really good with the utility belt too. Like, I feel like this would look naked without the belt, but since the belt is there, I think it looks complete. I don't know. Another thing that I really like is they have this black section that not only connects to the mask and like the neck, but also the shoulders. I think that is just so cool, and it really reminds me of the Tim Fox Future State Batsuit. That is one of my favorite alternate costumes for Batman ever, and this costume is taking a lot of elements from that, and it looks so cool. Again, we have some more purple highlights here. I always think that looks badass. I like the symbol. It's kind of wonky looking, but in a cool way, you know? Now, with the Robin design, it looks like they're taking a lot of inspiration from Rebirth, like his costume from the Super Sons run. That's my favorite look for Damian Wayne, by the way. I really like the knee-high laced-up boots. I think that is just so cool. I don't know, it makes him look less like an assassin and more like a kid, and I feel like with Damian Wayne, you gotta strike that balance, you know? I kind of like the skull on the chest. I'm not sure what that's about or like where it's from, but I think it adds to the edge that Damian Wayne should have because, you know, he's one of the edgy Robins. Speaking of edge, there's more black on this costume, which I think is really cool. And I like how they've done the R logo, how it's like part of the black section and it kind of juts out there. I think that's really cool. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the like 2 different shades of red here. So we have the red that's on the boots and the chest, but if you look on the sides of the torso, you kind of have like those weird panel things. It's like purple or, yeah, like it's just purple. I don't know. I feel like that should have been red, but other than that, this is a near perfect Robin design. Like this is really good. Alright, next up we have a design by It'sLou7 on TikTok, and this one's really interesting. Now, when it comes to the Batsuit, I like it, okay? I like the black and yellow color scheme. It really reminds me of Jim Gordon's suit from the New 52. I like the belt. I like the big cape with the collar. Of course I do. There's just one thing that I'm a little confused on. It's his feet. Like, I don't know. It's just odd to see boots like that, you know? It kind of looks like Venom, which I'm not sure is something that really works with Batman. Like, maybe you're trying to make him look more like a monster, which is cool, but I don't know. Other than that, I think this is really cool. I even really like the design for Bruce Wayne. He looks like the guy that gets cucked in the B movie. Like, this is this is a solid design. I just don't like the feet, that's it. And maybe like the ankle things. But other than that, I like it. Alright, next up we have a Batsuit by Decoder Artworks on Instagram, and this one's really interesting. It's like a big hodgepodge of a bunch of different Batman designs. We have the blue symbol from the current matte fraction Batsuit. We have the black face shading from the Silver Age, which, by the way, I love, okay? Like, we need to see the black face shading in the DCU, please. It's time. Now, with the belt and the boots, I'm not sure how I feel about them being brown, especially the boots. I feel like they feel really out of place, but the belt kind of helps it look more homemade or like year one coated. I don't know if that makes sense. It looks like a pirate or like a cowboy belt, and then you have that old-timey holster with what I'm assuming is a grapnel gun. I don't know, it's just kind of interesting because we have this really colorful blue Batsuit, and then we have like brown. But other than that, I really like this. Like this is really cool. Nice job. Alright, next up we have another homemade looking costume, this time by Juno Punk on TikTok. This one's pretty cool, you know, I like the design for Bruce Wayne. He kind of reminds me of Abed from Community, which, goated character, so, you know, actually, he was Batman in one of the episodes, so this makes sense.
I must take justice into my own hands. Men like Rick operate above the law, but there's something else above the law. Bats.
I like the black face shading on the forehead, but I feel like it's like a faceplate instead of like part of the mask. Like it kind of looks like a Phantom of the Opera mask, which is really cool. I like the blue and gray color scheme, and adding red on the inside of the cape is really unique. It's not something we see very often, but like this is just so homemade looking. Like it's so cool. Like we have a bunch of like different harnesses here, and like the belt is like not only strapped to his waist, but he's also got like these little flaps on the sides, and he's got a giant cod piece, which that's the only thing that's throwing me off. I'm just like, like putting random stuff on Batman's crotch is always just a no-go for me, but I really like it when his gadgets are like really visible and like on the exterior of his suit and not just hidden in a belt that like would never actually fit anything. Like you have a little slot there in his armpit for a Batarang, which seems a little impractical, but for a homemade like year one Batman, it's really cool. I like how he has like the holster on his chest for the grapnel gun. Like everything looks like it's designed to be conveniently reached at a moment's notice. And to add to the homemade look, we also have this like sweater looking material for the shirt and the pants, and we have these laced up boots, and like, I don't know, like it looks theatrical yet practical. This one's really cool. I like this a lot. All right, next up, we have this Nightwing designed by SBA was here on Instagram, and this is one of the coolest looking Nightwing designs I have ever seen. It's like a jumpsuit hoodie type thing, and we have like boots here, which is something we don't usually get for Nightwing. He's usually all black with just like the blue symbol, but there's lots of color here, but it still looks more modern than a lot of his other colorful suits, like the Disco Wing suit or the Nightfall suit. This is just so... like, this is fire. Now, one thing I really like about this is the belt, because like the belt doesn't wrap all the way around him, it's just in the back, and it leaves the front open, and he just has like those little yellow spikes in the front. And also the yellow, I love it when Nightwing designs have just a little bit of yellow to pay homage to his classic 80s design, but like this still feels really modern. It's so cool. It's more of a streetwear Nightwing, you know? There's just lots of elements here that we never really get to see on Nightwing. Like, I mean, I've talked about the yellow, so we have like some extra color. We have some like arm spikes there. We have boots. We have this little cape with a hood. It's just so cool. Like, this is, I don't know, it's like the most Gen Z looking Nightwing I've ever seen. Like, this is probably the best Nightwing redesign I have ever seen. If this was like Nightwing in the DCU, I would be happy. Like, I would not mind this at all. I also like the idea of Nightwing having a small cape just for like the flair of it, you know, just to be like dramatic and theatrical, because Batman has it for practical reasons and to look scary, but Nightwing would have like a little one because it looks cool when he's flipping around. I don't know if that makes sense, but like this is insane. Nice job. All right, next up, we have these 4 alternate Batsuits created by AR, and all of these are really cool, but I think I like the 4th one a lot more just because I prefer a darker blue on Batman. Now, all of these have the black face shading from the Silver Age, and I feel like that's going to be a theme in this video just because a lot of the designs submitted have this design element. I also really like the big yellow, you know, circle bat symbol. Well, this one's just like a big oval. By the way, hot take, I think the circle, like from Dark Patterns and Hush 2, is better than the oval. I'm not a huge fan of the oval, but this one's cool, you know? I really like how they've broken up the gray here with like that kind of pant design that I talked about earlier. It's really interesting to see all of the different ways that people like to break up the trunks, as I said before. Now, with the belt, I think it would have been better if it was like a full belt and the rest of it's gray. You know, I would prefer if it was all gold. It kind of would help break up the gray just a little bit more. And so when you make the belt gray, it kind of just like defeats the purpose of breaking up the gray in the first place. Like, you have black running through the gray sections, but then you make the belt gray, so then like, what's the point, you know? But other than that, I like all of these a lot. Nice job. All right, next up, we have this beautiful Batsuit created by Big Boy, and like, this is like the perfect modernized version of the Adam West costume. You know, like that's all it is. You know, you have more of the modern design elements, like the more angular logo from the Matte Fraction suit and the Matte Fraction belt too. You know, you have the pouches and then, but also capsules on the front. This is just perfect. I really like the circle behind the logo. I love it when people do that. And we have the black face shading again, but instead of adding the eyebrows and like the nose piece like the Adam West suit does, they've just left it all black. I think it makes him look a little more intimidating. I love it a lot. I like the shade of blue used here. Like, it's not too bright, but it's also not too dark. It's more of like a desaturated gray blue, kind of like the Hush suit, but a little darker. I think it's perfect. Like, this is if Adam West was more terrifying. It's perfect. I love it. All right, next up, we have this Batman Beyond design by Fritz, and I'm just gonna say this right out the bat. I'm not a huge fan of like really techie cyberpunk looking armored Batman Beyond costumes. I think Batman Beyond's design works so well because of how simple it is. It's just an all black bodysuit with a little bit of red. And honestly, I don't even like the idea of Batman Beyond having like this super futuristic techie looking costume because he's still trying to look like a creature of the night, even in the future. You know, he wants to appear as a supernatural being, and so this just kind of makes him look like a soldier. But as far as those armored suits go, I think this one's a lot better than most of the costumes that I've seen because it's more slimmed down. Like, a lot of armored Batman Beyond costumes are just way too damn bulky, especially the Arkham Knight one. But like, I don't know, this one still looks like Terry, if that makes sense. I kind of like the helmet, how it's like the cyberpunk LED mask and you can kind of change the face on it. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be the biggest fan of this, but I can still respect the design. Like, I still think this looks pretty cool, and I think it looks better than the Arkham Knight skin, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but if this was in the game, I'd probably use it. Like, this is pretty cool. And I also like how it's not just like straight up an Iron Man suit. Like, you can tell that there's a fabric bodysuit underneath, and then you have all these armor pieces on top. Like, I don't know. It makes it look a little more flexible, which Batman should be. So, This is pretty solid. Nice job. All right, next up, we got a DCU Batman concept by Gleek096, and this is perfect. Like, this is what DCU Batman should look like, honestly. I mean, I have my own personal design that has a little more blue on it, but like, if we need to go with the black and gray, this is the way to go, okay? Because it has like that BTAS look to it with the blue on the inside of the cape. It's kind of replicating the blue highlights while doing it in live action, because obviously you can't really do the highlights in real life. It doesn't really work, but having blue on the inside of the cape is like the perfect middle ground. I really like the trunks. I like the belt. I like the symbol. It's kind of like that perfect blend between BTAS and Arkham City. It's perfect. I also like how slim this Batman is, you know? I don't really like it when Batman's too bulky. Like, as much as I like Absolute Batman and I love that run, I'm not a huge fan of that design for the character. I don't like big, bulky bodybuilder Batman. I like him to be a little more slim, and I think it's more realistic that he would be like a slimmer build because he's supposed to be flexible, he's supposed to be acrobatic, he's flipping around. It's kind of hard to do that when you weigh like 500 pounds, you know? I also really like the material of the suit. Like, you can tell it's a more padded, you know, kind of fabric, but it's still not spandex or rubber, you know? I think this is just the perfect modernized classic Batsuit. I also like the gauntlets. Like, instead of just gloves, we have the gauntlets here so we can, you know, like have tech in them and gadgets and stuff, but it's also not too bulky to where, you know, it just looks ridiculous. So anyway, if James Gunn has to go with the black and gray for DCU Batman, this is how we should do it. Alright, next up we have a Batman Beyond design by Glitched Robbins. This is really cool. This is more my speed when it comes to Batman Beyond designs. I like the slim bodysuit. You know, Terry's a teenager. He's not going to be wearing a super armored battle suit. He's not Iron Man. But, you know, we have some extra red lines here because obviously it's an alternate design. You got to switch things up. I like most of them. I just don't like the one on the forehead. That's all. Like, that's literally the only thing that I don't like about this design. I like the red spikes. I even like the red hands. I think that's kind of cool. This is just a solid Batman Beyond design, you know? Like, it's just Batman Beyond with some extra lines. And I also like the design for Terry. I like the haircut they've given him. I think it's pretty cool. All right, next up, we have a Batman and Robin design by Jack. This one's really interesting. Like, obviously, I'm going to be biased towards black and orange Batman color schemes, like, duh. But I feel like the big talking point here is with Robin. Like, really interesting and loud design. Like, very loud when it comes to the color palette. And, I mean, that tracks for Robin. You know, he's usually wearing red and green with a bright yellow cape. But, like, we got pink, purple, black, and gold. And he's got this big, shiny gold medallion logo on his shoulder and the belt. I kind of like the idea of the logo being on the shoulder and like connected to the cape. I think that's cool. I'm not sure about Robin being a blonde though. Like, this looks like an alternate costume that you'd see made for like a Joel Schumacher Batman film. Like, it's just very colorful. Now with the Batman design, this one goes hard, okay? It's interesting because it's mostly a gray batsuit. Like, gray is the primary color here, and then blue is used for the torso. That's not something we see very often, but because it's just so dark of a design, I think it works. Now, I don't know if you meant for this to look like a Bat Nemo design, but I'm just gonna pretend that you did, because this is fire. I really like this. All right, next up, we have this really cool classic gray and blue batsuit by Jacob Blanco. And like, holy crap, like this artwork is just insane. Like, I'm always just so shocked by how talented and creative my community is, and it's just so cool to see. Now, with this batsuit, if I'm remembering correctly, in the submission email, he said that the yellow pieces on the suit are magnets where you can attach gadgets. So instead of having a typical utility belt where you like have pouches to put stuff in, most things are attached with magnets. I think that's a really cool idea. And you even see it on like the straps on the legs. He's got different spots to like place stuff. And again, you know, this just really supports the idea that Batman should have his gadgets readily available. They should be quick to draw. They should be more external looking. I just really like it when you can see more of Batman's gadgets and not all of them are hidden. Like, obviously he's got to have a few hidden like in his suit, like the lock picks and stuff like that, but you should be able to see a good portion of his equipment. I just think that looks way cooler. Now, besides the cool gadget gimmick, we just have a really classic looking gray and blue batsuit. We have the blue symbol, just like the Matt Fraction costume. We have a cowl that kind of reminds me of Robert Pattinson with like the shape of the face. And Robert Pattinson's cowl is just beautiful, so this one looks really cool. I like how the gloves aren't like a typical glove. You know, like it looks like they're connected to the body portion of the suit because it's like you have these weird kind of modular pieces, you know, everywhere. And also we have knee pads and pads on the inside of his knees. That's something we don't see very often. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, next up we have this really cool design by Leo Kinder, and we don't have like a really good look at Batman. We can see Robin there, but I want to highlight the design for Killer Moth because I haven't gotten a lot of submissions for Batman villains, and Killer Moth is one of my favorite Batman villains, and I think this is perfect because I really like it when they try to give, Killer Moth a more modern feel, where he's a little more intimidating, a little more competent as a villain, but he still has like the kind of silly color scheme. This really reminds me of his look from the Lego Batman game, the first one, not the new one. That costume sucks, but like this one, they add like the fur collar and they have the fur around the boots, but he still has the classic purple, orange, and green color scheme. It looks really cool, and I like how the helmet that they've given him is like an actual modern looking Killer Moth helmet, and like, yeah, he's a silly villain, and he should be kind of stupid, but he also shouldn't be like a complete and utter joke. He can still present somewhat of a threat. I don't know. I just really like Killer Moth. Nice job. All right, next up, we have another design for Batman and Robin by Lbsupartman. Sorry if I butchered that username. But anyway, this one's really cool.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Okay, I like how the Batsuit is like pretty much all blue. Even the gray sections are very gray blue looking. And the only, different color that we have is the black on the gloves and the yellow. And there's a lot of yellow in this costume. And not really, it just feels like it because the yellow that we do have takes up a lot of space. We have this really big bat logo, and I'm not usually a fan of yellow bat logos. I feel like it's a little bit too loud and like it's just too much. I like it when they use yellow for like the more accent colors, like a yellow trim or a circle behind the logo. But this one kind of works just because of how much blue there is. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like the black circle behind the logo. I like how wide the logo is, and I like the belt. I don't know. The trunks are a little too small looking for me. I like there to be a little more, not like complete boxers, but like the trunk should have a little more substance than this, Now, when it comes to the design for Robin, I can't tell which one this is, if it's Dick or Damian. I'm just going to assume that it's Dick, but I think it's really cool. I love how the logo is just plastered absolutely everywhere on this costume. It's on his hands, his chest, his belt, his knee pads. I'm assuming there's like a big black R on the back of his cape, but I can just imagine that. But like, I think it's so funny. I really like the color balancing on this costume. I feel like there's just enough of each color to where it all just works. There's a lot of yellow, there's a lot of red, you got some green on the sides of the torsos, the shoulders, and the gloves, and you got some red boots, which we don't usually see that often, but I think it works here. I don't know. This is really solid. Nice work. Okay, next up, we have this really cool design by Notdaveordaniel, and we have Bat Noir. Now, in the email description, if I remember correctly, this is Alfred as a 1930s noir-style detective, kind of like Spider-Man Noir. I think this is just so fun, Like, it's just fun to just explore different wacky concepts, like Alfred as a noir-style detective. I like how there's still a lot of Batman here. You have the mask, you have the ears kind of poking out of the hat. I think that's hilarious, but I don't know, like this is just, it's fun. Like they should actually make this an Elseworld story. I think that would be so cool to explore. It might already be like in some obscure comic book, maybe I just haven't seen it, but like if this were an animated series, I would watch it. I think that'd be so fun. Okay, next up we have this Halloween looking Batsuit from Fant Rider Figs on TikTok. This is cool, okay? A lot of Dracula vibes here, especially with the big collar, and you got some shoulder spikes to make him look more like a vampire. I like the black and purple gray color scheme here. I like the old style tunic there. I like the belt, the circle behind the logo. This is just really solid. And also, I just love the purple like shading on this costume. I love it when you have really sleek highlights, kind of like the Batman 2004. And I like the full face mask. Like this is solid, Like even if it's not like a Dracula vampire design, like this is just a good looking Batsuit. All right, next up we have a custom Batsuit designed by the Roam Zone. Go check him out on YouTube. He makes really cool Spider-Man videos, and he was the inspiration for this whole custom fan design series because he does it with Spider-Man. So I kind of copied him, but here we have his Batman design. I like the black and yellow color scheme. Really reminds me of Jim Gordon's Batsuit from the New 52. And we also have a variant where we see him shrouded in darkness and we see the neon lights glowing, and it just looks so badass. I am always just a sucker for really simple superhero costumes that are mostly just like one color, like all black, and then you have a little bit of another color. So like Spider-Man 2099, you know, back in the 90s, Batman Beyond, the symbiote Spider-Man, like it just works when it's simple. And this is simple. It's all black with some yellow. It's really striking. I love this a lot. All right, next up we have yet another Batman and Robin design, this time by Stapez. This one's really cool. I like the Batsuit. It's got a collar, obviously. I love it. We have a really cool dark blue and gray color scheme. We have the different, you know, Arkham Origin style trunks where it kind of runs up the torso. That way it doesn't just look like underwear. I'm totally fine with that. I prefer classic trunks, but this is cool too. I like the belt. I like the blue symbol with the yellow behind it. The only thing that I'm just like, on is the leg spikes. I don't like spikes on the legs. It reminds me of the Troika suit. Now, moving on to the Robin costume, I'm really feeling the 2003 Teen Titans vibes here, especially with the thicker black and silver boots. They look so cool. We have some spikes on the legs there. Not a huge fan, but other than that, like, this Robin design is just perfect. It's just classic Robin, you know? And honestly, it just looks like 2003 Robin, but they've added some sleeves to like the biceps. They're black now instead of just, you know, sleeveless. We also have a collar. Love the collar. Honestly, I feel like most of you guys are adding collars to your designs because you think that, you know, I'll be more likely to pick them. And you're absolutely right. You know, if you add a collar to your design, I'm probably going to select it for the video. They just look so good. I can't explain it. It just does something to my brain. I love it. Moving on. All right, next up, we have a returning artist from part 1. We have Talon M. Newton, and here he has designed a Dick Grayson Robin. This is just perfect. Like, this is what Robin should look like in the DCU. And obviously, I feel like this is heavily based off of Robin's look from the World's Finest comic, but just with a little more tech added. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, in the World's Finest comic, it's very much just like a classic spandex suit. But here, there's more armor, and he's got like the padded knuckles. He's got a more, you know, complicated utility belt, and I don't know, it's just perfect. Like, seriously, James Gunn, like, I know you're working on that Teen Titans movie, and if Dick Grayson is going to be Robin in that movie, just like, look at this. Like, please go check out this guy's page. Just copy every single one of his designs for all of your characters in the DCU, and then obviously pay this guy because, you know, we got to pay our artists. But yeah, just do this, please. Like, this is perfect. By the way, this was his Batsuit from part 1. It's peak. It's so good. Go check out his art, seriously. All right, next up, we have this just amazing character sheet done by Andrew Draws 1253 on Instagram. I really love just like full character sheets like this where you have different poses, you're showing the different gadgets, there's like notes on like what all the different pieces of the costumes mean. I think it's so cool. I love the inspiration on the right. We have the Year One suit. We got this amazing, I'm assuming you just drew that. Like, it's a recreation of a classic Norm Breyfogle Batman panel. Like, that's just amazing. Now, we have the spikes on the shoulders. I'm never going to be a fan of that. But, like, it still looks good, you know? I love everything about what you've done here. I like the shape of the trunks there on the top. I like the utility belt. It has everything, you know? Like, I don't like it when the belt is just one thing, like all pouches, all capsules. You gotta have a mix, you know, because Batman realistically would need all sorts of different things on his belt to carry all sorts of different gadgets, you know? They're all different shapes and sizes. It's just not all smoke pellets and stuff like that. I like the shapes of the batarangs too. We got some kryptonite there, smoke bombs. She's got like bat brass knuckles, some shark repellent. I like the Batsuit too. Like, the blue highlights just look so good. It's just the spikes. I don't like the spikes. And if you look on the right, we can see all of his inspirations for this Batsuit. We got Nightfall, the Batman 2004, of course. I feel like all fan art takes just a little bit from the Batman 2004. It's just a peak show with peak character designs. We got World's Finest, the Dan Mora, World's Finest specifically. Of course, Dan Mora is the GOAT. BTAS, Arkham City. Like, this is just so good, you know? Remove the spikes, and this is the perfect Batsuit. Seriously, I want to see more character sheets like this. These are just so much fun. Nice job. All right, next up, we have a Batsuit, well, two, technically, by VEP on Twitter. Now, on the right, we have a classic Batsuit for Bruce Wayne. What is up with all the spikes today, guys? Like, I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's pretty cool. It looks like an Arkham City Batsuit with some more straps and some spikes. Not a fan of the spikes, but the rest of the suit is just banging. Like, this is so cool. But on the left, we have like the highlight of this art piece, and this is the Hush fake Batman suit. I'm assuming that this is just Thomas Elliott, you know, disguising himself as Batman. This is so cool. I really love to see evil Batman designs that aren't just the Joker, you know, because we've seen that a million times, but like seeing other villains take up the mantle of Batman, I think is cool. Like, it kind of reminds me of Jason Todd's costume from Battle for the Cowl, you know? I really like the brown and red color scheme. It looks like blood. It's just gross looking, like, but that's the whole point, you know? I really like the stitched up look to the suit too. Like, really makes it look more homemade, but also evil. You know, everything about this costume is just supposed to look horrifying and evil. Even like the scallops on the bottom of his cape, they're just more jagged and just kind of ripped up than regular Batman, and they just look more chaotic, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm digging this a lot. Like, this is cool. All right, next up, we have a bunch of different Batman character designs by Vin Doodles. He was in the last part. He made this amazing Batman Beyond looking 2004 style suit. So cool. Here we get a bunch of different characters. We have Killer Moth, Firefly, Mad Hatter, the Riddler, Arctic Batman, and Mr. Freeze. There was a lot to cover here, so let's get started. All right, so starting with this Killer Moth and Firefly design, I really like it when they give Killer Moth his classic color scheme with the green and the purple and the orange and whatever, but they still make him look somewhat menacing and competent, like he's an actual villain. I don't know. So he kind of has like this Iron Man looking suit here with this really classic looking Killer Moth helmet. I love the fur elements on the suit. I think that just adds so much personality. This is just so cool. And this art style is just amazing. Like, it really looks like Man of Action, Cartoon Network, like Ben 10 vibes, and more Ben 10 inspiration later. We'll get to that. But Firefly here looks insane. Like, I don't think this is as good as the 2004 design with the yellow, just because the yellow adds so much more color to it, but here it's like if they mixed Firefly with his like Meltdown version from the 2004, where he's like both at the same time. Like, this is just so peak. And next we have a really unique looking design for Riddler and Mad Hatter. Now, Mad Hatter, he actually looks like the clown from Ben 10, the clown who was like stealing people's souls or whatever. I don't remember his name. It's been a while since I've seen the show, but he looks like that guy, like the zombie clown. Really, really terrifying. Now, with Riddler, I think this is so cool. I would not mind if Riddler wore something like this in the future, like in the comics. Like, this is cool. I love the green trench coat. I love the question marks that are just kind of all over the costume. You got them on the gloves, the chest, the mask. I also love the idea of the Riddler kind of keeping his identity a secret for a while. Like, Batman doesn't know who he is, and that's part of the riddle. And last up, we have this design for Arctic Batman and Mr. Freeze. Now, with Mr. Freeze, he kind of reminds me of his look from Batman Beyond, where he has more of like the blue armor, and his face is more obscured inside of the helmet. But that Batman, like that Arctic Batman, you know, in the Batman 2004, the Mr. Freeze episode, that white batsuit just, it went so hard for no reason, even though it was just like all white Batman. It just looks so cool. And here, it looks just as cool. I really like how you can't really even see the eyes. Like, they're just, it's almost like the mask doesn't have eyes. Like, you just have like the kind of the imprint of where the eyes are. Like, it's just so cool. All right, next up, we have these two Batsuits by Will. We have a regular one and a Nemo variant. Always gotta hype up the Nemo variant. Like, this is just so cool. I love the, oh, that's another shot. I love the sleek orange shading, like the highlights on it. It looks so awesome. There's a different word. You know, I'm trying to switch it up. Anyway, with the classic design here, it really looks like a mixture of like the first appearance suit, the rebirth suit, and like the Tim Fox future state one. Like, I love the idea of a full face Batsuit that's not just on Batman Beyond. Like, I don't know. Obviously, the classic Batsuit with the open mouth is always going to be better because it's just what we're used to. But like, this is working for me too, you know? Like, this is sick. I also really like the purple gloves on this costume. Now, usually, the arms just feel kind of naked on the first appearance suit because the gloves are so short. But here, they've added like these black bracers to the forearms that kind of fills out like that part of the design, and it just looks way more balanced. This is just so good. Nice job. All right, last up, we have these 3 Batman Beyond style designs by VEP on Twitter. Double feature here, I guess. Again, the spikes. There are just so many of them today, but like, you know, I guess I'm just gonna have to just fold and just start liking them, because here they're kind of working. Like on the Terry McGinnis design on the right, I don't know why, but I kind of like them there. And honestly, this is a really cool kind of like next step evolution of Terry McGinnis' suit. Now, usually I kind of, you know, imagine Terry McGinnis to just add a cape to his costume and call it a day. Like that's the next step for like the Batman Beyond design. But here we have these really cool neon like lines that go across the shoulders and down the torso. And I feel like if you're going to add lines to a Batman Beyond costume, like this is the way to do it. Like just keep it simple, you know? I like the red spikes on the arms. I kind of like them on the shoulders. It's kind of working for me. I like the logo. Like, it's just classic Batman Beyond if you just added a few things. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to talk about with the other two. The middle one looks like a design for Damian Wayne after he takes up the mantle of Batman. Terrifying. Like, just nightmare fuel. Like, look at that. Look at that mask. He's got the red eyes with the jagged, like, jaw-like mouth thing there. It's just horrifying, and what a weird shape for a collar. Just so cool though. Like, and then we have the arm spikes, we have a classic Arkham looking logo, we have those neon lines, but what's really cool about these ones is they start at the torso and then they kind of like transition into the like the trench coat kind of thing. What are they called? Tailcoat? Whatever. His little skirt thing at the bottom. It's cool. I just remembered. It's called a waist cape. I'm stupid. Anyway, the Bruce Wayne one is really interesting. I like the idea of the Batman Beyond suit being created because it just like, you take a really clunky, futuristic looking, you know, armored suit, you know, red and black, and you kind of just modernize it over time and slim it down until we eventually get to the Batman Beyond suit. I like the idea that the Batman Beyond suit came from the Hellbat suit and it was just kind of like modified over time. Like, this one looks like it was actually forged in the pits of Apocalypse. Like, that looks horrifying. Like, that is a suit that could beat Darkseid. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it all, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, and drop in the comments down below which suit from today was your favorite. This series is just so much fun. I love showcasing the amazing power of human creativity, and there are so many talented artists in this community. It is just awesome. Also, if you would like to submit your custom Batman character design for part 4, you can email me at capeandcowlcafesubmissions@gmail.com. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.